I met with a man recently who's in his early 60s and he's looking to retire within the next 6 months. And we started talking about the three bucket strategy and how it fits into his retirement income plan. And the question that came up is, how much should I have in each one of the buckets? If you haven't seen the three bucket strategy yet, I'll include a link to it somewhere here or in the description below. But in this video, I'm going to share that conversation and then what we decided to do with his three buckets and why. But first, welcome back, or if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave Zoller, and I run Streamline Financial, a wealth management firm with Tim and Luke and Sean, and we help people plan for and live their ideal retirement. If you end up finding this video helpful and you like retirement-specific videos like this, consider subscribing because we'll do one of these a week, and it's always focused on retirement planning, and just making your retirement journey a little bit better. Now back to the question. If you've seen my previous videos, then you may remember that there's a certain order in creating your ideal retirement plan. And before we can create the investment plan and decide how much of each asset class is going to go into each one of the buckets, we must first create the income plan. And that income plan looks something like this. And it really allows us to see what an impact of a financial decision has on the life of the total retirement plan. It's a very useful step in creating more confidence in your financial life. For example, if we wanted to spend a little bit more money traveling early on in the first few years of retirement, we can see that the total retirement plan, the final amount starts to go down a little bit, but it's not harming the plan as a whole. Or maybe there's a chance that you're going to have part-time income in retirement. Well, that's going to make things look a little bit better, and it's going to help us decide what to do moving forward, and also looking at all different sorts of scenarios. Sometimes we talk about the 4 economic seasons and what sort of impact would that have on the ideal plan. So anyways, that's the retirement income plan. And once we have that, then we start looking at what the investment plan, what really is the best investment plan suited to help achieve those goals of the income plan. Now, for my new friend and I that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, he had done some preliminary work and trying to figure out how much should go into each one of the buckets. And he started by figuring out what his ideal income would be coming into the bank when he was retired. And that amount was $20K per month. And now, as a quick note, don't let the numbers throw you off. We're all in different positions and we're all planning for our unique lives. We don't need to compare to other people. Some people have more and some people have less. This person that I was talking to is a giver, and he's also supporting charities, and he wants to travel a lot the first few years of retirement. So I'll use his numbers, but don't let it impact your mindset as you're planning your retirement. And as he talked about it and thought about it, he wanted enough in the conservative bucket for at least 5 years worth of withdrawals. So, simple drawing looks something like this of the 3 buckets: the conservative bucket, and then growth and income bucket, and then focus on growth here. And knowing that the conservative bucket isn't going to have any sort of great return, but it's really just to make sure that you've got enough no matter what season we go through next. Sometimes we think about this as part of the bear market protection plan. But anyways, back to his plan. He's going to have about $5K coming in from him and his wife's Social Security. So he estimated withdrawing $15K from his investments in various accounts each month. Then he did the math of $15K times 12 months out of the year, and then 5 years, that equates to $900K. So he asked, does that mean that I should have $900K in my conservative bucket of certain types of cash and bonds and cash-like alternatives? Now, that logic, it seems reasonable and makes sense, but his total investments that he had across the board was $6 million, which means if he followed that plan, he was thinking he'd have an allocation mix of about 15% conservative assets and then 85% more aggressive assets or different types of asset classes. We looked at his income plan and then what a portfolio would do in these upcoming years, really both the good scenarios and bad scenarios. And then we had a conversation about his own feelings around risk in retirement. And we answered this question of what's the least amount of risk that we need to take in order to have a retirement plan be successful. So we ended up lowering the return assumptions and updated his income plan and then added some asset classes that he previously did not have in his total allocation. And then we found that an allocation with a lower risk number than what his first assumption was best suited for him. To keep it simple, he ended up closer to a mix of 65, 35. Now, there's many asset classes within that mix so that he's prepared for all the potential economic seasons that we may head into, but let's keep it simple for now. And by the way, I've got a 3-step checklist coming up just so you can follow, so that you can help in this area as you're designing your buckets and thinking through your income plan. But if you found this video helpful so far, please like and subscribe so that you don't miss future videos like this one. So the main takeaway of this video is, if you're like many of our clients, those who are closer to or in retirement, you might have that feeling that you'd like to take on no more risk than what you need in order for your plan to be successful. And as you can see, creating your ideal retirement plan is really a process of discovery. And once you make it, and once you create that plan, it's not over, because really the retirement plan you create isn't that valuable, because life changes tomorrow, the economy changes, the markets change. It's really the process of planning that's the valuable thing. So an exercise for you today, at least, could be pick a monthly income number that you'd like coming into the bank if you were retired, and then choose the number of years of safety you'd like in that conservative bucket. Go back to that math of how much per month times 12 months times however many years. Sometimes we look at the average bear market out there and make sure we can last from peak to trough back to peak. That's one way people do it. Then work backwards to see what your total allocation would be if that was your plan. So think about, when you look at that allocation, then are you comfortable with the risk number, or do you think that something has to change? So that's a start. Think about those 3 things. So hopefully this example of how someone else is planning their retirement helped you think about yours a little bit more. If it was helpful, then click the like button, and then I'll see you in the next video. Take care.